Hey there, this is Dr. Marcella Wilson, and welcome to the Become an Expert Introductory Getting Started Mini Course, Part 3 5 Expert Types the Media Needs. All right, so I hope you listened to parts 1 and 2 of this mini course. Okay, part 1 talked about why the media needs you, and part 2 talked about how getting on TV is actually worth millions in free publicity, no marketing. Go back and listen to those if you haven't. You can find them on www.marcellawilson.com. But I want to say thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in again. And I appreciate you. And I want to continue to encourage you to follow your passion and your dreams of becoming an expert, a TV host, or a coach, or an author, or a fitness expert, or whatever it is you want to do. So let's get started. So, in my encounters of doing this and being on the media, being in the media, and meeting other people, I've kind of figured out that there's about 5 types that, producers and reporters and kind of the gatekeepers need. And I'm going to go over them with you. And I want you to think about where you can fit in, where you can insert yourself in. Because that's important, because when we market ourselves or we present ourselves to producers and reporters, and when we showcase ourselves on our websites and our blogs, we want to package ourselves so we look good to these producers, and we are what they want and what they need, because they need you, right? But you have to be in a form of what they want. So let's talk about that. Right, because the media plays a very important role in society. I mean, in all honesty, they start trends, they keep us informed, they entertain us. The media shapes public opinion, it motivates people to buy. The media, and especially television, has a great level of influence that's just undeniable. So it stands to reason that anyone who gets access to the airwaves can benefit from this powerful promotional platform. So every expert, every author, every speaker, every professional, they need to understand that in order to make an impact in their marketplace, or to get their target audience to find out about them, it's their responsibility to be a successful marketeer, a successful self-marketeer. So you as an expert, it's your responsibility to market yourself, okay? To get yourself in front of the audience that you want to share your message with or hear what you have to offer. So, like anything else, you want to work harder. You want to work smarter, not harder. You want to get the most bang for your buck. Okay, so you want to get the most by giving the least. And a great way to do that is to get on TV, because if you get on TV, you can reach millions of viewers, and those viewers can be potential clients and future customers. So anyone who is looking to have any kind of level of longevity or success as an expert or a coach or author or speaker, they've got to use television as a form of marketing for themselves, right? It's a great way to gain an advantage over the competition, you know? So I want you to seriously think about how I can market myself and what type of expert I fall into, so that producers and reporters will want to use me. All right? So, well, before I get into the 5 types, let me just say this. What I want to say is, if you don't have a piece of paper behind your name, letters behind your name, If you feel like I don't have this degree or that certification, I want to say you still are valuable. You still can be an expert or a coach or a host or an author. You still can do that. Anybody who is actively participating in their profession or who can draw from past professional experiences or life experience in a current or relevant way can be an expert. Okay, so just because you went to the school of hard knocks, your message is still valid. Because, just think about the people you see on TV. Yes, you have your experts and your authors and so forth, but you also have people who are delivering a message. Maybe they've had an illness, and because of that, they want to, raise money, bring awareness, and eradicate that illness or that disease. Or maybe they have a platform or they have a message to share. All of that doesn't necessarily have to have some letters behind your name to do. So I want to encourage you to, not be down if you don't have a PhD. Yeah, I do have a PhD. I have a master's and a PhD in computer science. So, people look to me as an authority on computer science, and that's cool. But if you want to be a fitness expert, you don't have to have some letters behind your name. Because just think about it. There's some people out there that are famous. They didn't go to school. They just started blogging. They blew up, got a huge following. Next thing you know, they're all over the place. One person who comes to mind off the top of my head, Perez Hilton. He started a blog, laughing basically at celebrities. Now he's a celebrity himself. Like, how did that happen? There are so many people like that. Another example is these fashion bloggers. Remember, fashion world is kind of uppity, right? They're like, either you're in or you're out. These fashion shows that they do in Paris, Milan, and New York, they only invited the creme de la creme to these shows. These are celebrities and, Anna Wintour, these magazine editors, anybody can't go to these shows. But these people, some people out there like Brian Boy and lots of other people, they just started blogging about fashion because they loved it so much. They had a passion for it. They had a drive for it. Next thing you know, they built a huge following and they're sitting next to Rihanna and Anna Wintour on the front rows of these fashion shows. They had no experience, no education, no nothing, but they went ahead and did it. So I'm here to tell you, you can do it too. All right? But let's look at the 5 types that the gatekeepers in media are really looking for. And the first one is authors. Okay? So there was a survey conducted by the Jenkins Group that showed that more than 80% of all Americans want to write a book, but only 3% of the population have actually achieved that goal. So if you're an author and you wrote a book, you need to be congratulated. Your book is actually, it represents your package knowledge and it adds instant credibility to your career achievements. So the media is always looking for people who have published their research finding. I remember when I first set out on this path and I went to a workshop, and I remember the woman who was moderating it. She said, first thing she asked me is, have you written a book? I said, no, I haven't written a book. I said, I had just finished my doctorate. And she said, look, if you write a book, you're good as gold. And that stuck with me. So you need, even if you don't want to be an author per se, that's not your main goal, you want to be an expert in something, write a book. Instant credibility. So it's great because your book can be on research findings, your opinions, your professional advice, easy to follow tips, whatever the case. That's the kind of stuff that as an expert you want to have in your book. And it really doesn't matter if your book is self-published or not. What's important is that you just get it written. But it does need to look professional, okay? So you can make it available for purchase, or you can make it free for download on your website or something like that. Also, you can just do an ebook. You don't have to worry about getting it, hardcover book that you can carry in your hands. Write an ebook. A lot of these ebooks out there today, 20 pages, 40 pages. Hey, if you're passionate about something, you can write 20 pages or 40 pages on something that you love. So I want to encourage you to write a book if you're just starting out on this. But know that the media is always looking for people who have written books on topics. That's like money in the bank. If you say you've written a book, they want to book they want to book you. Write a book, get booked. All right. So, the second type of expert that the media is always looking for are authorities. Let's think about this. People you see on TV, on these talk shows or news, they may have made a new discovery. It could have been the first one to coin a popular phrase or enter some type of new market. They may have had some new technique or developed a new technology. All these people are considered authorities in a certain area, a certain topic. So when this topic or this market or this phrase comes to the attention of the media, they want people who have an area of expertise in that. And if you fall into that category, they will use you. So you don't necessarily have to have, a degree. You may have had experience in that. You just may have developed this because it worked for you in your life. You invented it and boom, it blew up, and now it's a huge product. So know that they're always looking for authorities in certain areas. Okay, the third expert people are looking for are celebrities. Okay, so this is a amazing time that we're living in, because we have our celebrities, but then we also have our real people celebrities, and I call them the people you see on these reality TV shows like Housewives of Atlanta or New York, or the people you see on American Idol or the X Factor, Survivor. These are real people celebrities. But or the people that run, there's this show on Bravo where the woman is a hairdresser and she goes in and she kind of gets the hairdresser, the salon in order. Or just think about these shows that they come in and they fix people's houses up, or they do all that. These are everyday real people, but they're on television, right? And most likely they're earning money because they're on television, they're on a show. So this is the phenomenon of the real people celebrities. Also, the celebrities are becoming experts. Real people celebrities are becoming experts, and celebrities are becoming experts, because lots of celebrities, like, the new thing is to write relationship books. Like Steve Harvey's wrote relationship books. Lots of celebrities are doing that. They're getting into the expert field. Now, I don't know if it's just hard to get, cast in a movie nowadays, but a lot of actors and actresses, people, dancers, they're becoming experts. Celebrities are becoming bona fide experts. So I just want you to think about that. You can be a real person and become a celebrity, and that in turn will lead to, income opportunities and exposures for you, opportunity for you to create products, brand yourself, make money. So celebrities are a type of expert that the media looks for as well. Also, there is the hardcore expert. So that is anybody who's gained some specialized knowledge through firsthand experience and is considered an expert. So, like I said, I'm considered an expert. Computer science. I have the education, and I've worked in this industry for over a decade. So I would fall into that category. But really is just a person with some form of expertise. And really there's no limit to the area of expertise that you can get in on TV. They could be bloggers, authors, writers. You see them all the time on TV. They could be real estate agents. You know, their whole networks and all these shows about real estate agents. You could be fashion designer, a pediatrician, a model, a psychologist, psychiatrist. You could be a financial expert. You could be a fitness expert. You could be a chef. You could be a medical professional. You could be in the home improvement or design. You could be an inventor. Someone in the legal industry, maybe a lawyer, an attorney, a private eye. You could be a life coach. I know some, excuse me. I know some life coaches that have been very successful on television. You could be a motivational speaker. You could be a self-defense expert, and my all-time favorite. Don't you just love to listen to relationship experts on TV? So there are all kinds of experts on TV in the traditional sense that we know of, and the media is always looking for them. Last but not least is professionals. Now, professionals are, they're a little different from experts. They can be a type, like a subtype of an expert, but a professional is someone who has some type of documentation or certification from a governing body which oversees that profession. So, and because of that, they can diagnose or assess or offer expert advice on that profession. So I'll give you an example. So yes, I am in the computer science industry because of my education and my experience, but there are certifications that you can get, like there are Microsoft certifications. If you go through their training and take their tests, you can be certified in certain areas. Because of that, you can teach or earn income or speak or be an authority in that topic. So I don't have those type of certifications, so I'm not considered an authority in that area, but people who have gone through that, they are professionals in that industry or in that area, and the media is always looking for those type of people as well. So people with these type of credentials are always used by television um, producers and reporters and the like. So some examples are people who understand legal interpretations, maybe if they've been certified in that, if they know, if they have scientific discoveries that they're aware of, different things, but it's professionals, but it's kind of a shade different from what an actual expert is. So I just wanted to go over those 5 types because you want to know where you fit in and what you're going to package yourself how you're going to package yourself when you present yourself to that casting director. So, and also understanding how producers categorize you and evaluate you is a great thing because you know what they expect and you can give them what they want and what they're looking for. So now, of course, you can, fit into multiple categories, but you also really just want to have one main type that you want to be. Okay? So I hope this makes sense to you, and after you listen to this and think about this, you can come away with what you are. Okay, so that's it for me. This is the end of my mini course for getting started. Go to my website, marcellawilson.com. Please listen to my podcast. Send me an email. Tweet me. I will tweet you back. I will send you an email. Ask me a question, whatever you want. All right? And thank you for taking the time to listen to this. I won't hold you any longer. Get out there and be great. And let me know how you do. All right. Take care.